Jack. How do you know if you're a lesbian?
Did you have a question?
No.
I have no idea how to start this episode. It's about Jack in the Box, the fast food franchise, publishing two comic books about 20 years apart, neither of which have anything to do with one another, so it doesn't really make sense why I'm combining them together as in one big video, but I have them right here. I have the first one from 2001 or so. 2001, I think, is when this came out. I would assume 2001, because the artist's signature says so. And it's a Marvel Adventures book, whatever that is. And it has the Avengers on the cover. The Avengers and Daredevil and Sue Storm. Well, the only Avengers here are Hawkeye, Captain America, and the Hulk. But as you can see, this is a sealed, mint condition Marvel Adventures comic. This bad boy has never been opened before. There's this one from about 2001. And then, sometime last year, Jack in the Box decided to publish another comic, which I have right here, still in its packaging. This is the envelope that it came in. And I don't know if you can get this thing anymore. So I guess I'll just open these right now. These have been sitting in my office, in my stack of comics that I need to read for months. And I haven't done that yet because I wanted to open them on camera. Specifically this one. And this one is seemingly also going to be... No, it's not mint condition. Because it doesn't come in a bag or board like the original. And it is about Mark Hamill. And I guess that, it leaves this bad boy, which I'm just going to unceremoniously tear open and free it from its prison that has been sitting in for the past 22 years. Oh, there's a little card on the inside as well. Marvel City of Heroes. Jack in the Box brings all the excitement of the Marvel Universe to the palm of your hand. Each hero is a blast on his or her own, but if you collect them all and connect their bases, you can create a City of Heroes. I don't have that. I should have bought all of those, but I didn't think about it. Oh, hey. You can get 3 months for free. A subscription to, I guess, their comic book line, Ultimate Spider-Man. If you call this phone number... Let's see if it's still active. This is just Jack in the Box's, like, contact.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance. We have a special promotion today for select callers. If you are over 50, please press 1.
I don't think this is still the right place. No, I'm not over 50. Oh, yeah?
Thank you for calling the Medical Alert Center. This is Jessica on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes. Hello, Jessica. I found this number in...
With our promotion today, you actually have the opportunity to receive a free medical alert device, so congratulations. You know, it's that little button you wear around your neck that you press in case of an emergency.
I don't think this is a real person.
A fall. Now, when you're participating in our monitoring program, you actually can get your medical alert absolutely free. So, oftentimes it's really expensive to buy a device like this, so we make it really simple for you. You pay for the entire unit itself and then ship it right to your house for free. And then, of course, we guarantee you 100% peace of mind, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, let's go ahead and get you some more info on it, okay?
Let me try the other non-over 50 number. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this leads to.
This call may be recorded for
Maybe I am over 50 if I got tricked by a robot. Oh, it's good through. It's only good through in 2002. Fuck.
If not, press 2. Thank you for your help with our survey.
They just hung up on me! What is this number? What just happened? I was gonna get a medical alert device for free, and then they were like, no, you gotta pay for the whole year's coverage of their service or something. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'll just call the young person's number. And then they said it was a survey, and then they hung up on me. So I guess I'm not getting my 3 months free of Ultimate Spider-Man with $3 for shipping and handling. What a fucking waste. Released in 2001, written by whoever, with art by Alvin Lee, possibly, who this might be a photo of. This is a Jack-in-the-Box exclusive Marvel Adventures tie-in comic. The book begins on Riker's Island, which, unlike the normal Marvel universe, this one is spelled with an I instead of a Y. A bald man dressed like Grant Morrison named Dunn is released from a 10-year sentence. As he's walking away, he pulls out a note that reads, 1432 Adams Street. Oh, I wonder if that's like an address to a Jack-in-the-Box or something that's in New York. No, it's just somebody's house. There's not even a Jack-in-the-Box on the East Coast! Cut to this Dunn guy going to some hideout, monologuing about how the police are probably monitoring him and waiting for him to lead them to his like, stashed cash or something, his loot. But thankfully, his old cellmate agreed to cause a diversion if Dunn gave him half of whatever his treasure is. So Dunn activates these giant robots that I guess were his cellmates? And they kind of look like mechanical humanoid dinosaurs or something. A short while later, in Manhattan, a couple of guys read a newspaper printed on a giant notebook sheet and chat about the Hulk as Peter Parker, no, that's Bruce Banner actually, walks down the street. Then the robots show up. I guess this must just be down the block or something. This is very close. And don't they look like dinosaurs? Like if dinosaurs had humanoid bodies and were also robots? The robots just sort of slowly start to smash things, and blind attorney Matthew Murdock, who also happens to be in this part of town, makes his way through the crowd and changes into his Daredevil suit. As Daredevil leaps into action, Bruce Banner transforms into the Incredible Hulk. Daredevil realizes that Hulk will probably end up being a bigger issue once the robots are destroyed, so he calmly goes up and asks him to please only smash the robots and not the people in buildings. Daredevil then chases after a robot, but nearly stumbles into Sue Richards, the Invisible Woman. She materializes and wonders how Daredevil knew she was even there, which is hilarious. I've never considered that at all. Daredevil is blind. Does he know that she can turn invisible? Can his powers somehow tell that she's doing that? Maybe. Or does he just think that, like, she doesn't have any powers, or she can only, like, kind of, like, she has telekinesis or something? Is that all he thinks that she can do? Daredevil somehow topples over one of the robots as Hulk smashes, and Sue uses her invisible force fields on them. The destroyed robot then emits a little hologram of Dunn when he was monologuing to himself back at the warehouse. And meanwhile in Chinatown, Hawkeye just sort of watches the robotic mayhem and is disappointed that he and Cap won't be getting their lunch break. Captain America then leaps down into the street below and enters a China shop where the robots are knocking over the shelves like they're in a slapstick comedy sketch. Hawkeye shoots one of them with a punching glove arrow, and then flirts with the cashier by telling her Cap's backstory. Then Hawkeye captures the robots in a big net, and Cap smashes them with his shield. Captain America uses this big wrist tech thingy that he got from somewhere to triangulate any more robots. Back with the others, they are still watching that little hologram recording and learn exactly where the money is hidden. Cut to Central Park. Dunn comes up from the hole he just dug and finds 5 superheroes standing over him. The end.
Did I ever tell you about the time I jumped my motorcycle over the Caspian Sea?
You better watch yourself, Ted. Those friars are no place to fool around.
Yeah.
And no, this episode is not sponsored by Jack-in-the-Box. It is sponsored by Destructo Boy, my currently at 3-issue comic book series. It's 3 out of 5, so there's only 2 left to come out. Issues 4 and 5. Issue 4 is the second part to the Eclipse of Googleplex, which sees our little hero Destructo Boy face off against the giant might of the evil giant robot Googleplex. And the first 2 issues follow Destructo Boy as he goes up against the villainous Alpha Cardinal in his quest to conquer the giant space station Zephyrus. Check it out, etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. Make sure you capitalize the B, T, and W. And each purchase comes with a free sketch of any character of your choosing. I'll draw whoever you want it to be. Spider-Man, Daredevil, Superman, Jessica Rabbit. I'll draw them and put it in the copy, I'll sign the book, and I'll ship it out to you. So check that out, etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. Really helps me out. And enjoy the video. Released in 2022, written by a person, maybe, with art by Luke Duo Art and Jamie Coe, or Jaime Coe. This is The Return of Mark Hamill. The book begins in Hollywood, 1970, 7 whole years before Mark Hamill's first ever film role as Sean the Fairy in Ralph Bakshi's Wizards. 19-year-old Mark Hamill walks into a Jack-in-the-Box and speaks to the off-putting mustachioed Jack Box, who has a shitty line about how iconic Mark's haircut is. Mark asks if they're still hiring, Jack asks if he has any fast food experience, Mark says that he eats here 3 times a week, and Jack hires him on the spot. First day on the job, Mark is already Employee of the Month. I assume that this all takes place on the first day, because there's no other captions like that one that give us any reference of time. Mark asks if he can work the drive-thru, but Jack tells him that it takes months to work up to, and by that he means minutes. Because the normal drive-thru guy breaks his shoulder while he's closing the window and screams in horrible pain. He pleads to Jack that he's sorry, and Jack begins crying and tells the man that he just needs to rest and save his words. Then I can only assume the man dies, and Jack asks Mark Hamill to work the drive-thru. So he does. Later, Mark comes up with an idea, signified by this groundbreaking visual of a light bulb turning on. Then the comic attempts to make a audio-based joke. Mark starts speaking over the mic in a, quote, over-the-top clown voice. And I have no idea how anybody in this book is supposed to be responding to this. Do the customers like it? Do they hate it? I don't know, because they're all just silhouettes, and this panel is nothing. It's just a car. There's no reaction here at all. In Jack's office, he's apparently shaved off his mustache, I guess in honor of that guy who died earlier, and is playing mini golf. He goes out to find how Mark is doing and sees him goofing off and doing silly voices into the mic. Then he fires Mark on the spot. Mark then leaves town, apparently, as it rains heavily. Several years later, in the mid-70s, Mark gets a call from his agent about starring in a sci-fi epic. And Jack still has Mark's Employee of the Month framed photo on his wall and tearfully covers it with a Hang in There cat poster. In the 1980s, Mark is on the set of something. Look, they only have the rights to Mark Hamill's likeness, kind of, and Jack in the Box. They're not going to show any other actual movies that he was in the 80s. So they just drew him doing Hamlet. Although, I did find this photograph of Mark Hamill in 1989's Slipstream that is simultaneously reminding me of Kenneth Branagh in Hamlet and making me question my sexuality. Mark sees someone offset eating a Jumbo Jack and says that's a lunch he hasn't seen in a long time, as he tears up. They really only ever make Star Wars references in this. And Jack watches one of Mark's movies and begins crying. In the 90s, wow, that's not a bad Mark Hamill. I can actually see Mark Hamill in this drawing. Unlike the Mark Hamill that appears 2 panels later on the same page. Mark signs his autograph at a premiere and thinks he sees Jack, but it's just a girl holding a white balloon. At a ribbon-cutting ceremony, Jack thinks he sees Mark Hamill. But it's just a man holding his dog up to see the celebration. In the 2000s, the art gets very rushed. And in present day, Jack tosses his keys to, a child and a pregnant woman that I guess he thinks are valets at this movie studio, and he appears on the movie set or something. What the fuck is happening? Is this a commercial for Jack in the Box that Mark Hamill's appearing in? Anyway, Mark Hamill is there, and they both say how long it's been. Jack says he's watched all of Mark's movies, and Mark says he's tried all of his food. Then Jack asks Mark to come back and finish what he started. Another shot at the drive-thru! Then Mark rips off his suit to reveal he's wearing a circa 1970 Jack in the Box shirt and jeans. He's also wearing a tie underneath, which means that he's wearing 2 ties. Then they walk off into the sunset as Mark asks if he can still do his crazy clown voice. The end. And wait, hold on, what is happening here? Because look at the reflections in this weirdly wet ground. Mark's is way too big, and his arm is flipped. Wait, no, it's not. That's not his arm. That's Jack's fucking silhouette. Look, you can see his giant head at the bottom. Instead of just flipping the already drawn silhouettes vertically, the artist or the colorist or whoever, they flipped it vertically, and then they did it horizontally. But they did them both together, so for some reason their reflections are switched. And what the hell is that other, like, rectangle stuff going on there? Where's that coming from? I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know what you thought of these Jack in the Box published comic books in the comments below. They are not good. I will say that right now. They are bad. Just like most promotional comics of this sort. The art is always pretty bad in stuff like these, although I did think that the one in the Marvel book was alright, when it was like action scenes or something, and not like people just sort of walking around. That seemed, you know, it's all art in this is always very amateur, in these promo comics, which, you know, it seems like from what I've read on Alvin Lee's Wikipedia page, assuming it's the same guy, he was starting out pretty early, seemingly, around this time. So it makes sense, you know, get somebody young to just do this real quick, but, like, you know, it doesn't look bad. It's colored nicely. I really like the pastels that they used in that book. It's more of an anime-styled, or anime-manga-style influence on the art, which I personally, I don't care for, but there's nothing that wrong with it. It's still nice to look at. I enjoyed it. There's fun poses and, like, you know, interesting stuff that happens. Compare that to this one, where the art is terrible. Mark Hamill only looks like Mark Hamill once in the book, and kind of on the cover. That's not a bad Mark Hamill, although they don't say who drew this one. It is just incredibly rushed art, which you can see in the pages. It looks like it's all digital as well, which means that they just really etched that stuff out fast. Especially on, you know, the stuff they didn't really care for. Which, I mean, you're doing a comic about Mark Hamill working at a Jack in the Box, so what really are you gonna do with that in terms of making something visually interesting? But even then, it's so bland to look at. What is this? It's not great. Especially in the 2000s. Like, look at that. Look how, well, you could see it in the video. Look how sketchy it is. It's just such a rushed job, and it doesn't even say who colored it. I assume it was just some digital studio or something. It's just not great. I didn't think it was that fun. I didn't like it. I don't think it's good. It was free, so that's a bonus. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this book now. I guess it's just going to go on my shelf. I guess it's just going to go with my other independent published comic collection that I have. But here's something that isn't bad to look at. Destructo Boy, issues 1 through 3. Again, they're on sale now. Etsy.com/shop/Blake T. Wild. Make sure you capitalize the B, T, and W. And Each issue comes with a free sketch of any character. I'll draw Captain America. I'll draw Mark Hamill. I'll draw Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. I'll draw Mark Hamill as that hot, short-haired blonde guy that he played in that Slipstream movie. I'll draw Mark Hamill as a Jack-in-the-Box employee. And I will include it for free. If you purchase all 3 issues, if you want to get caught up, you're getting 3 sketches. Getting 1 in each. So check it out. Right now. Do it. Do it. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. I'm going to try something different for this next episode. So, I don't know. If it works well, if people like it, I'll probably do it fairly often. Not every video, but every once in a while. If not, I'll probably do it less often. But yeah, again, let me know what you thought of these weird Jack-in-the-Box tie-in comics. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
You can grab a bite without going far. Pack up the kids and crank up the car. Come as you like, come as you are to Jack in the Box.